In our ad, It Takes a Hero to Be a Bad Guy, we acknowledge that it's really hard to say no and that it takes tremendous strength for a parent to do so. So we knew from our research that parents found reducing treats really challenging. They said that treats were everywhere. And even though we know they should be something that's rare and special, they've just become an everyday food. We also knew from our research that there's particular times when they give children treats, when they ask for them as a reward or simply to make the child feel better. So knowing all this, we had to ask ourselves, well, what has to happen to change this behaviour? We used the COM-B model from University College London to help us plan and formulate our campaign. The aspect we thought was most important was motivation. Parents told us that they liked giving their children treats. It made them feel good, it made the children feel good. So we actually had to think of some way to make them feel good about saying no.
So the process really began with a body of research that Safe Food had commissioned all around the topic of treating. We distilled everything down, stress tested it, and came out with 2 creative routes. And then, as a means of making sure that we really understood what we were addressing, went out and held co-creation groups, speaking to parents, seeing what worked, what didn't work, what resonated with them, what messages fell flat, what messages really reflected their experience of parenting and treating.
There's a moment where mum has to make a decision. It puts a lot of pressure on her mentally, so she's trying to overcome the obstacles in her own head. To achieve that effect visually, what we wanted to do was have the lights go down, she's focused on by a spotlight. We wanted to really heighten that moment though, kind of accentuate her disappearing into her own mind and having to overcome those obstacles. So we created a dolly zoom effect, where it's a heightened effect. It seems like the background is expanding out and the person is kind of losing themselves into their own inner world.
Research shows us that about 20% of the foods that children are eating are made up of foods like crisps, biscuits, sweet cakes and dessert. We're focusing on treats because they've become such a normal part of children's everyday diet. It's hard for parents to go against what everybody else is doing in today's world, but the more parents that make changes, the easier it becomes for everybody else.